Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about another Amazon hit. I can't believe we're here. And the best, actually, and I mean this seriously, the best live action Spider Man we have gotten in 26 years Spider-Noir. Now, what was interesting is that I can't believe we've gotten a Spider Man that is this good. Well, first of all, not Spider Man, the Spider, as it said. And there's been a lot of stories about the production issues of this because apparently this show was first completely shot in black and white and converted into color. So the black and white is how it was originally shot at, and the color is some grading effect it went through and all of it. And you can pick and choose how you want to watch this show. You can go through it first black and white, or if you want to go first through it in color and swap. This show is very rewatchable, and it is probably a for a version of New York that was shot in an LA backlot, like using the How I Met Your Mother New York sets, just 1945. It is the most enjoyable Spider-Man type live action project because I don't want to compare the Spider-Verse things to it because it's not a fair way to compare when you're watching the swinging, right? Because it is, to do the animation versus the live action element of it. It's not an apples to apples thing, but putting the 8 episodes together, you get about, without credits, you get about a 5-hour runtime, which is about equal to 2 Spider-Man movies, right? And I have to say, Spider-Noir is better than both Andrew Garfield, right, movies. It is better than the Tom Holland trilogy. And everyone's going to say No Way Home is fucking fantastic. In retrospect, is No Way Home that good? If you think about it, because No Way Home is the definition of a COVID movie. It only has 5 sets. This is what people keep really like forgetting about with the No Way Home Spider-Man. Remember the sets: the condo, Strange's basement, the highway fight, the Statue of Liberty, and the forest? Oh, and the school, right? That is it. That is what it is. There is no New York at all in the No Way Home movie. It is a very clustered, condensed movie. And for that, it does suffer because Spider Man is a New York hero. And by the way, Brand New Day looks like it's going to be a very, yeah, it all shot in the UK, but it's an outside movie. Okay. We saw the entire cold open, like via set pics, what it looks like, right? Spider Man himself has to be outside. It has to look real. It has to be swinging, right? So I don't want to compare Brand New Day to Spider-Noir. We haven't seen Brand New Day. Very well, could that Brand New Day is most likely going to be better because of what we've seen from set links. Okay, but just the Tom Holland ones are very small. And everyone says, well, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey's great. Sure. Okay, you know what? I could put it on par with Spider-Noir because, by the way, we had this fight with Star Wars where Andor is basically better than every Star Wars movie outside the original trilogy and Rogue One, right? So let's just remember it is like this. Spider-Noir is to the Spider-Man movies what Andor is to the Star Wars movie. It came in and it has set a new level of standard. I want the Spider-Man franchise to go. And now let's go into the actual element. The first thing they do, straight up 2 minutes in, they're like, what universe is this in? Now remember, in the Spider-Verse movies, right, Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man is a Peter Parker. In this, he is Ben Reilly because once again, the Sony rights are Sony gets control of when Peter Parker can appear in things. This is not Peter Parker. This is Ben Reilly. And not only that, we are in a very interesting version of a 1930s New York where he is a private detective. And I gotta say, the detective elements and this Looney Tune things of how he fights doing the little jabs is entertaining. In a world where everyone has powers, right? A lot of people have powers. We see versions of the Sandman. We see a version of a guy with fire. We see a lot of elements of this. And we kind of see that everyone got their powers relatively at the same time during the war in this place where they were doing experiments, right? And the cast of characters are great. Lamore plays Robbie Robertson, a type of reporter, and he's charming. He's basically Winston from fucking New Girl, but cooler. We have the chick from Sinners playing Felicia Hardy, and we also have his Ben Riley's assistant Janet. and then we have this evil mobster who's kinda like their kingpin. Brendan Gleeson's playing Silvermane. I gotta say, all of it works, and by the way, organic webs, okay? This Nicolas Cage has organic webs. The suit live with the trench coat, amazing, and the traumatization of why he isn't the Spider anymore because of the fact that he almost lost a fight before and he had to just stop. Now, the whole thing is, well, Nicholas, this Spider, Ben Riley, isn't supposed to be it's supposed to be like, let's say, late 40s, early 50s, and the issue is that Nicolas Cage is much older than that. He is, in his 60s, and the situation when he's Nicolas Cage, he kinda looks slow and janky versus, obviously, the stunt double thing seems very energetic in fights and how he does everything. And we do everything. We have an origin on episode 6 is the origin of how he got his powers and all of the explained to it. The how he becomes the your power, your responsibility with the death of the wife. The elements of how he fights everybody and how he's kind of okay at his power, how it took him forever to get good at his power, why he does his job, the politics of how he can't really put away certain bad guys, and also the final fight in the season finale, which I thought was fucking fantastic, and how he becomes the Spider and everyone's really rocking with it. And the trauma of all this and how certain people know who his powers are and all of it. I look, and I gotta say, between this and Off Campus, right? Off Campus, I rewatched twice already and I fucking love it. I'm like, yo, Spider-Noir is just basically the Andor needed of what we needed to reinvent Spider-Man. And maybe you could do this with other versions of the Spider-Man, but this just worked. I mean, 1930s New York looks alive. He's very different than Peter. He's also very different than even Peter B. Parker in the Spider-Verse movies, which was supposed to be like our midlife crisis Peter. This works, okay? This just it works in such a way, I can't believe it works, and I like that everyone has their own thing, like, black and white. I didn't like the black and white of it all. I enjoyed the color version. I think it looks great in color. I like how the suit in the black and white versus, like, color looks versus everything being in black and white. I just like to see the color. Okay, I think especially since I rewatched the origin where he's, like, captured an episode, I like it more in color than compared to the black and white, and maybe because I can just pay attention to more detail with color than I can to black and white, and I'm glad they give you both options. I think this works. Uh, what's funny? I had access to this show a month ago, right? And for whatever reason, I just didn't watch it. I felt like I should have, but I was just like, there was so much shit happening, right? We still have like Euphoria and Hacks and fucking every show's disappointing us lately. But and the boys and all of it. This I'm glad we got a good superhero show. Okay. After the disaster that was the boys, watch Spider Noir. It is it just shows we've been settling for shitty Spider-Man for 26 years. Okay.